Inspector comes out from the crawl space and says, there's an axle under here, right? And we're like, no, this was supposed to be an adobe house. So we started calling it the Tradobe because it was a trailer and an Adobe add-on. My clients couldn't buy it, though, because the loan would not allow for it.
It's Tigo and Tracy Venturi with Acel Venturi in Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, episode 587. About 11 years doing this weekly, talking about real estate in Albuquerque. And every week we have something more to talk about because there's always something happening in real estate. I've got a couple of interesting things I wanted to talk about, some future of home search. Some things are changing, they're in the pipeline, and we're addressing that and making sure we're on top of it for our sellers. Tracy, what do you got this week?
Sure. I'm going to talk about High Desert neighborhood. I like to do a feature spotlight of different neighborhoods. We haven't talked about that neighborhood in a long time, but I'm also going to talk about Mariposa because High Desert and Mariposa were developed by the same company and just kind of contrasting one part of town versus the other.
Got it.
Yeah.
Acel, you're here to lend moral support. Do you have a story for us? Moral support.
I had learned a little bit about a rent-to-own program that might be coming up.
Oh, rent-to-own. That's a hot topic, and it's interesting, and that actually ties into one of the stories I have, which is the housing, what are they calling it? Housing for the 21st Century Act, or the housing. Anyway, there's a couple different names because the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate, they had two different names, but it just passed the Senate a couple days ago, going back to the House, and this thing is packed full of stuff related to housing, some of the stuff that's long overdue. A couple of things that I'm interested in. So you didn't even know this was on the agenda, did you?
No, I didn't know it, but I did see your post about it, so I know specifically what's important for New Mexico about that.
Yeah, well, what did you think? What jumped out at you, Tracy, on that spoke to you?
I think it was the mobile home versus manufactured.
Yeah, to me, that's a big deal.
You're like throwing it over to me while I'm about to sneeze.
Yeah, I'm excited about this manufactured home thing. And just to explain it, manufactured housing pre-1978, there's a HUD, a national standard for manufactured homes, right? And those structures have a building code, and that building code includes having a chassis underneath this building. The issue is that most of these days, they get brought to a site, they get put down, and they're permanently there. So having a chassis is just a waste for most of them because most mobile homes aren't mobile. They're manufactured homes, and they never go anywhere.
Removed from being mobile. This reminds me, Tigo, one of my very first years in real estate. Do you remember that property our good friends put under contract in Corrales? And the home inspector comes out from the crawl space and says, there's an axle under here, right? And we're like, no, this was supposed to be an adobe house. So we started calling it the Tradobe because it was a trailer and an Adobe add-on. My clients couldn't buy it, though, because the loan would not allow for it. It was not conforming, so to speak. But we joke about that Tradobe a lot. So
anyway, I think that's a good one. There's a whole bunch of financing stuff in there, and I want to get in the weeds on that. There's this is one of my favorites. They're doing some bans on corporate ownership of single-family homes. It's really limited, but there's a bunch of loopholes. And, if anybody's followed me, my opinion on that. And it's kind of a red herring in that, there's some people, corporations, that buy single-family homes, but in Albuquerque has been minuscule. It's not like Atlanta where there's a lot of it. So it's a good talking point for politicians, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. But there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's zoning stuff. The thing with national zoning, though, is most zoning is local. So it's going to have to be, what do the local people do about it? So, we'll see where it goes. The thing, though, that you said, Acel, that there's somebody in town doing potentially rent to own. So what did we hear about that?
What I heard is that there is going to be a new option for buyers for this one company builder Can I
Okay.
say builder?
Yeah, builder. Yeah.
Builders offering the option to rent to own. Not sure exactly on what the details are yet there. There was another company in town that was doing rent to own, so it was called Utopia, and they had criteria similar to how you would apply for a loan, but it was for qualifying for the rent to own.
Got it. And we haven't I mean, there was some companies doing that, and really there's nobody in town offering that as an option for folks right now.
We have not had a good option for rent to own, and we do have a lot of inquiries from potential clients for that. So we're excited about it because what we hear is it's like a new home builder that's going to start allowing people to kind of pick their house and a new home and then rent it with a future purchase price in place.
So one of the things that I think is interesting, this whole idea of banning corporate ownership of homes. Well, guess what one of those corporate ownerships of homes did for people? They would buy the home and rent it back to them and put them on a rent-to-own program, which is actually helping people get into home ownership. Well, this could ban this bill. So, it's the whole unintended consequences. People think corporate ownership of homes, they think, oh, it must be bad. Well,
Not always.
not always. So,
Yeah. Plus, we need rentals, and having a home versus an apartment option can be good.
well, we've got build-to-rent homes going up, and some that are finished, some that are still under construction in our market, meaning single-family homes or townhomes that are being built for rent. They're
Right.
never going to be sold.
So the days of 10 years ago when we had rent to own option, I think that some of those folks who locked in a price and they had 3 years to convert it, as I recall on one of the programs way back, 3 years to convert it to the pre-approved purchase price. We saw purchase prices, values of homes go up a lot during those years. So some of those people were sitting really pretty when they had to convert to regular financing and close on buying the house at a pre-approved price that was set 3 years before.
Oh yeah, the people that bought on those programs back in, let's say, 2019, 2020, 2021, oh yeah, they did great.
They did great.
Yeah.
So, Tigo, tell us about the future of home search.
Ooh, we're going to do that subject next.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let me.
You're not online, Tigo, you're going to share a screen.
Yeah, I'm going to share a screen.
Yeah.
But now I've lost it, of course. Here it is. Let me go. Okay, share. All right. Let's talk about AI and AI home search. One of the things, and Tracy, you and I have had this conversation a lot, because when home sellers think about listing their property and listing it with a broker, they don't ask some certain questions. And today, in 2026, mid-2026, they should be asking their listing broker that they're interviewing for selling their home is, what is your AI optimization strategy? How are you optimizing the property listing? I know you hate that word, but
the home that you're representing.
The home that we're selling. What are you doing to make that property stand out to the AI tools? Because that matters more now than ever. And it's going to become commonplace. And so what I put on the screen here is, today when a home buyer goes and searches for a home, they get on a website, a Zillow, Realtor.com, one of those, our website, a bunch of websites. And they do filter searches, right? You plug in, okay, how many bedrooms do you want? What's your price range? Maybe what part of town you want to be in, how big it is, and that type of stuff, right? So it's a filter. So you're creating this filter. Well, the future of home search, and this is going to be true for a lot of different industries, it's not going to be something like that. You're going to create a AI agent. You're not going to know that that's what you're doing, but that's what it is. It's called an AI agent, and an agent is a tool that goes out and does stuff for you autonomously, okay? Google announced this a couple months ago in their big, their yearly thing where they talk about all the stuff they got coming. You're going to have in Chrome, for example, in your browser, you're going to be able to set up an AI agent, and instead of saying, these kind of very specific things, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, you're going to say, hey, find me a family home. I know can't do that, but find a family home near great schools, shorter commute, and I need a yard for a dog, right? And that's going to be your search. And then it may come back and say, well, how many bedrooms do you need? And it do that, right? These are kind of questions that we've done for years as realtors.
Right.
But the AI agent is going to be doing that for people. And now that tool is going to go out and be searching and indexing all the different homes that are for sale and trying to figure out, okay, what are the homes that are going to match the criteria for that person? On the reverse side of that, if you're selling a home, you need to optimize that property in the listing and the information in that listing so that the AI search engines find it. And we're doing that. Sam standing here, our producer and marketing manager, built out a whole tool that makes sure that when we promote a property, it's optimizing those certain things that the AI search engines are going to be looking for. So it's kind of a big deal. The AI search thing is, there's this whole thing, AI is going to replace our job or certain jobs, right? Well, I'm not too worried about it in our world because we know the home search and finding the home is not necessarily the hardest part, right, Tracy?
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it can help to a certain extent, but there's still certain things where you're going to need somebody helping you interpret the market, understand it better, and obviously work through all the details as you're going through the contract to close process, which is really where the hard part.
Yeah.
That's really the hardest part.
To piggyback on that, Tigo, there are areas in some builders and some markets where they do a code at the doors, so you don't need a realtor to actually look at the house. You have to put in your information, and then they give you a code to put in the front door. But what we know is that hasn't proliferated, right? Buyers still want somebody to be able to take them from house to house and get in all the houses, not just the ones they can get a code for. So I don't think there's any risk from that perspective. When you had that chart up, it was like, what's still going to be needed? What's still going to be needed is the knowledge and the expertise to be able to get, hey, how is this? What should we be concerned about? What should we be thinking about as far as the contract? What might be the contract to close issues that come up? All of those things that we're pretty integral about.
Well, I think about your red flags list that you have. We call it the red flags list, and it's all the neighborhoods or areas or properties that we know that there might be some issues, right? Just historical information about, certain things to look for, like homes with infloor ducts, for example.
Or
right?
polybutylene piping or,
yes.
right, settling issues, known areas where there was a landfill or just different things that we know about. So, of course. And that list keeps getting longer. My red flags, when I teach that class, it keeps getting longer and longer because we think of new things when we're going through it to add to the list. And then the topics, there's always a story to go with it, right? Well, I learned this the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
right?
There's a lot of that in this business.
Yeah. So good stuff.
All right, Tracy, High Desert. Let's do High Desert.
Sure. So most of our listeners probably know where High Desert is. Obviously, we're in the High Desert, but we're talking about the High Desert neighborhood that was a master planned community. Tigo, do you have a map to pull up for those online? So High Desert is east of Tramway in the foothills of the Sandia Mountains. The two entrances into High Desert are off of Spain and Academy. So it's just south of Paseo del Norte neighborhood. But what's interesting, High Desert was master planned. So there's actually apartments there. There's townhomes there. There's houses on traditional, neighborhood lots. And then there's the estate lots. So you can kind of see if you're online how the lots get bigger, right? I remember a few years ago, Tigo, you sold a piece of land that was right at the base of the mountain, and it was like a crazy price, like $725,000.
Yeah, it was a vacant lot that was at the end of one of those cul-de-sacs going east, backed right up to the National Forest.
And I think it was probably about an acre and a half. It was
not
a larger
National Forest, it's open space first, which is the city open space, and then the National Forest beyond that.
And it was a big lot, like a big pie-shaped lot.
It was
beautiful
lot.
building site.
Yeah.
So High Desert still has some land available for people to buy land and build, but they're not, the infill. It's more of a half acre or larger type lot. When I looked at it, the houses in High Desert, so just for a quick numbers guy.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Active on the market right now, there's 23. The average size of those homes is 3,376 square feet. They are averaging $345 list price per square foot. So similar sort of to Corrales. It's in that mid 300s a square foot right now.
Yeah.
The average days on market is a little surprising, 92. So 3 months on
Average,
market.
that's for homes that have sold?
It's homes that are on the market.
Oh, that are unsold.
Right.
Got it.
Right. List prices range from $520,000 to $3,595,000 right now. Average list price is $1,244,000. So there are 6 homes in pending, ranging from $629,000 to $2,795,000. The $2,795,000 house was a 6-bed, 7-bath. Just out of curiosity, I
Wow.
looked. The average for those 6 days on market was 44 days until accepted contract. But as you can imagine, that's an average. So one of them sold in 0 days, like came on the market and went off the market. And then there's others that took more than 44 days. The average size of those 6 in pending is big, 4,393 square feet.
Wow.
So yeah, good
So,
size.
I mean, it's a popular neighborhood. It's honestly, one of the last real master plan
Oh yeah.
communities in Albuquerque.
It's like, Tanawan, Primrose Point, High Desert, kind of all neighborhoods versus North Albuquerque Acres, where it's more of you buy a lot, you build a house, you're kind of not a neighborhood, you're just a part of town,
Well, it's a neighborhood, but they're large lots and they're very spread out because they're those, 0.89, acre
Yeah,
each
it's
one.
it's different though. So of the sold, right? 74 sold in the last year. So when you contrast that right now with 23 active, 74 sold. So we're on normal pace, right? For selling. Average sold price for the average size for the past year was 2,855 square feet, 2,855 square feet. So it's much smaller than the 6 that are in pending right now, averaging over 4,300 square feet, right? Average sold price, $881,000.
Okay.
The range last year for High Desert, $443,000 to $2,700,000. Average sale price to square foot, average sale price per square foot was $295. So the active listings right now averaging $345, was it?
Mm-hmm.
It's on my other little
Yeah.
note here. Yeah, $345. Big difference between the sale price average for the past year of $295.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's not unusual to see, list price to what actual sale prices are. Big spread for sure.
Right.
When you're talking averages,
plus a few houses can really skew the data.
For
right?
sure.
So let's talk about land, because there are some lots for sale. There's 4 on the market right now, ranging from $319,000 to $699,900
Mm-hmm.
for 1.56 acres. A very nice building, custom home building lot.
Premium, yeah.
Premium, yeah. So that's good. There was 3 sold in the last year, ranging from $372,000 to $637,000.
So you think about that. So there's a general rule in new construction that says, you never want to build more than 4x the cost of the land. Is kind of like this. I don't know if that's really 2.
And I've always heard 3 or 4, kind of.
Yeah, but let's say it's a $700,000 lot. Now you're at basically a $3 million house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of the 3 sold last year, they sold on average at $725,000 an acre, because 2 of the 3 sales were smaller and 1 was just over an acre. So there's High Desert, very, very in a quick minute.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and then you want to talk about Mariposa too, or is that not on your list?
I was thinking about it. So let me just give you really quick stats on Mariposa. Right now, there's 29 properties on the market. A lot of those houses are new construction. We still have some new homes being built there, like production builders. So a lot of these 29 homes are new construction, kind of regular city lots. Rio Rancho, Mariposa is in the far northwest area of Rio Rancho. A lot of times we are showing Mariposa to the same client who's looking at Placitas. They're kind of out. They want to have some privacy.
Yep.
There are custom home lots and custom luxury estates in Mariposa, but then there are regular, production builder neighborhoods.
So if you're looking at the map up in the the I guess the west side of the whole community. It's the big estate lots, and then there's the neighborhoods more high density. It's all single family homes, but still a little more high density. And
Well,
there's some different neighborhoods there.
and
Yeah.
they have, some of them are half-acre lots that was, builders, like normal production builders on half acres. But most of those were local builders that do a lot of volume. And then there's the estate lots. But, when we show like a custom home in Placitas and then we go show a custom home in Mariposa, one of the benefits of Mariposa is obviously the utilities are all more city. You've got sewer, you've got water, you've got underground, electric lines and gas lines. But they also have a community center that's pretty awesome with an indoor pool and an outdoor pool and a weight room and a little cafe. And just, it's a really beautiful place to know your neighbors, which is great.
Well, and something, the reason you said this, but just Mariposa and High Desert, we think about them together because it's the same developer that
Right,
did both
right.
projects.
And they did similar where they have smaller lots, medium-sized lots, and estate lots, and they made a neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So it's a community. So of the 29 on the market right now, they're averaging 2,275 square foot. So, very decent size home, not too big, not too small. Average list price is $523,000. There are 11 in pending sale with the average list price of $543,990. So, very similar to what's on the market. Closed in the last year, 75 in Mariposa. And the average sale price was $517,000. So we have the estate lots being balanced by the production builders.
Sure,
But,
sure.
even those new construction homes, a lot of the production built homes are, in the 400s and 500 range. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. There is land for sale also in Mariposa still. Right now there are 21 lots on the market. Average size is 0.85 of an acre, so it's mostly estate lots that are available. Average list price is $101,000. So, contrast that to what we saw in Mariposa, the average,
You mean High Desert?
to High Desert, quite a bit different.
Yeah.
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 Closed sales on land, 8 in the last year. Average size was 0.97, so basically an acre, with the average sale price was $66,000.
Interesting. Yeah.
Some of those lots are challenging probably to build on too, because I've sold land in Mariposa, and boy, you have to walk them all and look at the view and who's going to obstruct it, because you're buying for that gorgeous view and some privacy, right? And sometimes there's an arroyo that's going to get in your way or something that you're going to have to deal with in construction.
Got it.
So
Cool.
that's
Cool.
that's the skinny on those two.
I wanted to share some stuff I've been working on the website for
Okay.
people. A couple different things. First off, earlier we talked about home searches and how home buyers are searching for homes. Well, one of the things we do when we're listing a property for sale and collecting information is help get information about the property from the homeowner. And we have this form, and I've got it on the screen here. What we're doing is we're asking about the property, and we're bringing in. Let me just go ahead and go to the next screen here. What we're trying to do is help you as a homeowner tell the story of your home.
Help you help us tell the story of your home.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Much better. And so this is an intake form. We're not trying to make you do extra work here. What we're trying to do is help.
Homework.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like homework, sure. But we don't want to make it hard. We want to help you understand that buyers, when they're searching for properties, they're looking for certain features, right? They need so many bedrooms, so many bathrooms, and maybe so many garages and so much square foot. However, they're also buying an experience. They're buying a feeling. They're buying something and how it's going to benefit them. So one of the things we're doing when we're getting information from you is try to capture that. And that's what this form is for. And this is a tool that we have available to our home sellers.
It helps buyers understand what you love about the property, help them love about the property.
Yeah.
Helps us cue in when we're showing your home, right? And with the other realtors showing your home, some of the feel-good things and that may not be as obvious.
So the other thing I wanted to share is we have a tool on our website that we built, and I thought it's kind of fun. It's like, are you ready to be a home buyer? Are you ready to be a homeowner? And what it is, it's a little quiz, and you go through the quiz and you check off these different things. So I'll give you an example. Do you know your monthly payment may include taxes, insurance, and private mortgage insurance and HOA dues, right? And so it's kind of letting you think about, okay, what are the things that I need to know about home ownership and buying a home and the process? And as you go through this, you're answering these questions, and some of it has to do with timing, some of it has to do with finances. How does it fit into your daily life, and the offer process and the whole contract process. And then when you get through it, it gives you a score, and it says, how close are you to being ready to be a home buyer, or what additional information do you need to know to be a savvy home buyer?
And from this, even though it might say you're not ready yet, you need to learn a lot. That's where we get in the picture, right? Because we can say, okay, let's sit down, let's do that home buyer consultation strategy session, talk about it, make sure you understand the ins and outs and what the areas on this questionnaire that you said, I don't understand. What is a PMI? What is HOA? What will my monthly payment be? We can sit down and go over all those things, even if it's at a Starbucks, to help you.
Well, and that was the point of this. It was kind of just a fun way for you to kind of think about the things that you probably need to at least understand the basics of when you're doing the home buying process. So that's right on our website at Welcome Home ABQ. It's called Ready to Buy Quiz, and you can fill that out there and check it out and schedule a strategy session with us too if you'd like. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that we learned a little bit about what's going on currently with Mariposa and High Desert, where are we at overall currently with our market?
Okay, so yeah, actually I wanted to share this because I've been doing a bunch of stuff to update some market statistics stuff right on our website, some real-time stuff as well as monthly stuff. So if you go to our website at welcomehomeabq.com, under market, you'll find a tab called monthly update, and you'll see some different things. And Tracy, we've talked about this a few times, as the number of homes on the market is actually down from a year ago. I saw a stat that came up for the entire state that the number of homes on the market is up. But in the Metro Albuquerque area, number of homes on the market is down. So it's an interesting time in our market because prices are, trickling up a little bit. You were talking about, median sale price in those two neighborhoods, but median sale price for the entire Metro Albuquerque is $375 in May, which is a lot different than, some of those higher end neighborhoods that you were talking about.
Right.
The other thing is we have a weekly tracker on our website where we can look at how the active inventory is doing right now. So the number of homes on the market, again, it's down 113 from the same week a year ago. Number of new listings, a number of price cuts. I always like looking at one, Tracy, like the number of people that have a home on the market that have reduced prices, 43% right now.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. So, I mean, they need to think about, when you're listing your home for sale, getting that price right at the beginning can make a big difference as opposed to chasing the market, especially this time of year. The later and later you get into the summer, the harder it is to kind of get those higher prices. And as soon as school starts, it's going to be even more difficult.
Right.
So
good information.
anyway, I just wanted to share that. That's on our website.
And we have a bunch of open houses this weekend. Of course, they're on our website, so you can check it out if you want to look at open houses or schedule a time just to tour houses you personally with private appointments with us. We'd be happy to tour you, right?
You can reach us at
Yeah.
505-448-8888. We have a handful of realtors and
A
help you
handful.
out.
How many is a handful?
A handful of realtors that are more than happy to help you out.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we serve all the different areas of the metro. We call it the greater Albuquerque area, all the way from Edgewood.
Moriarty.
We go as far as
Stanley.
Moriarty. Yeah, say it's Stanley. We've gone that way when you go in east. And then, of course, south all the way down to like Belen, north to Algodones, and west to basically west.
Yeah.
until we run out of,
Blue Water.
Well, yeah.
No,
we've
not
done,
that far.
we don't go to Blue Water, but yeah.
We've driven there to look at property personally, but we
have.
haven't. Placitas, Corrales, Rio Rancho, Algodones, the whole metro, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We service it all.
Yep.
So whether you're looking to buy or sell, we're here for you. Even investing in real estate, we do a lot of that too. So we'd be happy to help. Give us a ring, 448-8888, or get online, use our website, and let us know how we can help you. We'd be happy to.
Take care. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. We appreciate you. And please click subscribe. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with real estate in the Albuquerque area and New Mexico, and of course, across the entire country. Have a great one.